Hemophilia, it's a recessive genetic disorders or bleeding disorders in which some proteins which are responsible for the clotting of the blood are missing. Either the blood is not going to clot or the person will experience simultaneous bleeding.
The WFH estimates that of the 400,000 people around the world that have hemophilia, 75% of those patients tragically do not have access to treatment currently today. We at Sanofi find this statistic to be unacceptable, and through the donation program and other efforts, we are dedicated to addressing that number and reducing that percentage, and all of us in the industry have the obligation to do that. It's an incredibly important issue to tackle as a company dedicated to enhancing the lives of patients around the world. Sanofi is dedicated to those patients with hemophilia who don't have access to this treatment. Tragically, in the developing world, many patients don't live to adulthood because of this lack of treatment, and that is a chronic issue that we are seeking to address.
Sobi is a fairly small to mid-sized Swedish biotech company, Swedish Orphan Biovitrum. It comes from the merger of two organisations, Swedish Orphan and Biovitrum, to be a rare disease company that focuses on research and development right through to commercialisation of treatments for people with rare diseases. So people with haemophilia B are missing specific protein in their clotting system, and as such the treatments for haemophilia are to replace those missing proteins. And haemophilia A is missing factor 8, haemophilia B is missing factor 9, and the replacement factors simply replace those missing pieces. Back in 2012 at the World Federation Conference in Paris, Mark Skinner, who was the president of the organisation at the time, made a call to action in his plenary asking for industry to really step up. We were at that meeting with our partners at the time, Biogen, and heard that call to action and decided it was our responsibility to do something about it.
The World Federation of Hemophilia is a non-for-profit organization which was established in the year '63. So we've been now around for 56 years. Our main mission is to develop and execute hemophilia care programs around the world. And that would include capacity building for the treaters, awareness for the patients and the families, and at the same time work together with the government of each country in order to improve hemophilia care in the country. Until in the year 2015, when Sanofi Enzyme and Sobi stepped in and they expressed their willing in order to partnership with us for a longer time with a substantial amount of clotting factor concentrates in order to help the patients in developing countries. And for that, we really value this partnership with these two companies because it enabled us to plan a lot regarding the sort of treatment and the sort of help that we will be able to offer to developing countries.
Historically, companies have donated when they've had spare clotting factor, whether it's maybe short-dated or just stuff that they've not been able to use or sell elsewhere. This is different because this is actually batches manufactured, commercial scale batches manufactured to donate. And what's really different too is that it was product, or is product, that was at the cutting edge, and still is at the cutting edge of treatment for people with haemophilia. So it's the extended half-life factors, a new technology which was manufactured to enable people to take treatment in a way that they'd never had access before. And what was really important too, that it was predictable and it's sustainable. And that was the reason for aiming for a sustained period of donation over a long time. And that was also unique because historically companies gave bits and pieces here and there, and that meant that treaters, patients couldn't predict when they would get their next therapy. And it makes an enormous difference to know that you can inject today because tomorrow or the day after you'll still have factor that you can use. But we believe that if you're living with a rare condition, with a rare disease, your human value, your worth is the same whether you live in a developed health system or a developing health system or a system that's not developed at all. And as such, we'd like to play our part in enabling people in those variety and range of different health systems to access therapy that they desperately need to survive.
Since the program began in 2015, there has been a remarkable impact on patients. We've been able to provide over 300 million IUs of factor to 40 different countries. That has benefited over 16,000 patients. This benefit has been in the form of over 117,000 acute bleeds being treated and over 2,000 surgeries being able to be performed. Many of these surgeries were life and limb-saving surgeries, which has been just a remarkable impact on the patients. Yes, our donation program is a source of pride and is an important first step for us to improve the standards of care for patients around the world. We welcome and encourage all of our peers to join this effort or to create efforts of their own so that collectively as an industry we can continue to make a positive impact on the lives of patients with hemophilia around the world.